are you being criticised then?
Because pressure groups want to deny me freedom of speech.
Irving was deported from Canada, refused entry to Australia, and threatened with arrest in Germany. But as a skilled publicist for his views, he has become the most notorious historian of the Third Reich and the most effective spokesman for the revision of the Nazi record.
According to the evidence that I have seen, there was no gas chambers anywhere yet.
David Irving was the kind of Holocaust denier who could get into people's living rooms, through books, through articles, through television appearances. I think he was probably the only one who could have made a real dent on public opinion.
Today, a determined campaign in Europe and America echoes Irving's belief that the historical record of the final solution is a lie, orchestrated by the international Jewish lobby. The communications between Holocaust deniers have become more sophisticated, but their methods are well established. Exploiting public ignorance and fading memories of the details surrounding the extermination of Europe's Jews, the deniers distort documents and misquote records, challenging legitimate historians to validate the established record of the final solution.
But they kind of say, you got to prove everything. Prove that you are alive. Prove where you were born. Prove that you breathe. Prove, prove, prove.
The defense insists that Irving's work as a scholar has been warped by his politics. Central to their case is their attempt to portray him as a racist. In preparation for the trial, the defense has had access to all of Irving's private diaries, compiled over a 40-year period. They are able to make use of some of this material in their cross-examination.
Quiet evening at home, etc., etc. Jessica. Who is Jessica?
My little infant child.
Yes?
Well, she was 9 months old at this time.
9 months old in September 1994. Jessica is turning into a fine little lady. She sits very upright on an ordinary chair. Her strong back muscles are a product of our regular walks in my arms to the bank, etc., etc. On those walks, we sing the Binkety Bankety Bong song. And, more scurrilously, when half-breed children are wheeled past, and then you go into italics. I am a baby Aryan, not Jewish or sectarian. I have no plans to marry an ape or a Rastafarian.
Yes?
Racist, Mr. Irving. Anti-Semitic, Mr. Irving, yes?
I do not think so.
Teaching your little child this kind of poison.
Do you think a 9-month-old can understand words spoken in English or any other language?
And is it the historian's job to be liked?
To emphasize Irving's right-wing connections, the defense show a video of a speech he gave to the National Alliance, an American right-wing political group.
I said,
He's recounting his response to a Jewish questioner at one of his meetings.
You are disliked, you people. You have been disliked for 3,000 years. You have been disliked so much that you have been hounded from country to country, from pogrom to purge, from purge back to pogrom, and yet you never ask yourselves why you're disliked. That's the difference between you and me. It never occurs to you to look in the mirror and say, why am I disliked? What is it that the rest of humanity doesn't like about the Jewish people to such an extent that they repeatedly put us through the grinder? And he went berserk. He said, are you trying to say that we are responsible for Auschwitz? Ourselves? I said, well, the short answer is yes. The short answer, I have to say, is yes.
Irving has never sought to deny that anti-Semitism was at the heart of Hitler's ideology. In Standing Guard Against the Jew, Hitler wrote, I am defending the handiwork of the Lord. Irving has also never hidden his admiration for Hitler.
He seems to want to exculpate Hitler. That seems to be a key element of his agenda. He has himself said, I believe, that Hitler had said to his doctor, I think it was, that at some point a historian would come along, and it would be an English historian who would write a true account of these events, and he seems to think that he is, that historian.
One of Irving's central challenges to the generally accepted view of the Holocaust is that there is no documentary evidence that Hitler planned or ordered it. For years, Irving has been offering $1,000 to anyone who can produce a document. Irving claims that the absence of an early order from Hitler demolishes the vision of the Holocaust being planned and organized at the highest levels of the Reich. But most historians insist that in fact Hitler's plans for the final solution evolved over time and were not the result of a single decision.
I would suggest now, after 50 years of research, that Hitler's decision was made in stages, that his thinking evolved, and that his pronouncements became ever more drastic and ever more specific with this evolution.
The trial will follow in detail the developing stages of the final solution. 7 months before the outbreak of World War II, Hitler spelled out the nightmare awaiting the Jews.
Wenn es dem internationalen Finanzjudentum in und außerhalb Europas gelingen sollte, die Völker noch einmal in einen Weltkrieg zu stürzen, dann wird das Ergebnis nicht der Sieg des Judentums sein, sondern die Vernichtung der jüdischen Rasse in Europa.